Day 50 of the bull market. It's insane. You cannot make this up how idiotically correlated Bitcoin currently is with the last bull market. If you compare it to the last bear market, you can see that the correlation is, non-existing pretty much. It's going the complete different direction right now. Overlaid with the previous bull market, it is exactly the same. It's going up a little earlier than what it should. And I'm surprised how long this is following it so far. Now, if you zoom out, you could see we're kind of nowhere yet compared to the big picture. However, do I think that this is going to follow exactly? No. And I took some good money out today, actually. I sold my Ethereum. I'm going to sell Chainlink, and I'm going to show you why. I just want to take you into that thought process because the market is doing really fine right now. People are getting more positive. The bear and wheat index is currently sitting at 62. It was, I think, 62. People are getting wasted already within pretty much a day. It's kind of crazy if you look at the raw valuation, how hard it can spike up. Yeah, and if you look over the last 30, or not the last 30 days, but if you smooth it out over 30 days to get rid of the noise a little bit, yeah, you can see that we're currently sitting at a valuation of around 30, give or take, right? So we're nowhere close yet to a euphoric stage or anything like that. I think most people even still feel like, well, this is just a dead cat bounce or whatever. Whether a bounce is, a dead cat or a live bull or a comatized carrot, it doesn't really matter, right? You can still take your profits there. And that's exactly what I did. So let me show you exactly why and when and how I did that. But, still, guys, this is just nuts. And again, I don't know how long we're going to keep this up, but this is nuts. So what I was looking at is first with Chainlink, look, the way that I like to think about things, and let me know down in the comments, what are you doing right now? Are you buying actually, or are you taking profit as well? Or are you just waiting for stuff to cool down and then come up with a strategy or whatever? I'm curious, but I like to look at dominances. For example, I bought Chainlink at $7.17, right? So if I look at this chart, I got in here, right? Really good level. Now, if I look at the dollar valuation, we can draw a line like that and be like, yeah, it can go to $23 or whatever. We can draw our Fibonacci and see what the move is going to be. And we can say well, these are the big levels. But overall, I think that the dominances are telling a lot more because, Chainlink needs money in the entire crypto market or whatever coin for it to go up, right? Or it has to take a big portion of all of it. That could also be the case. Overall, the more money in the market itself, the better. If I look at the dominance for Chainlink, I'm like, okay, yeah, so it came from the bottom here, right? And it's now sitting closer to the top. And at a certain point, it has to break, right? To the downside or the upside. But tops are just not usually where I decide to be bullish on an asset. So I'm like, okay, this is getting quite close to a top. So I think that this is, one that I just want to simply get rid of, take some profit out, $7 to $10.50. It's a good pump for a period in the market where everybody seems to believe that this is a bear market. And then these type of gains are exactly the ones that you want to take out, right? Now, mostly I sold a bunch of Ethereum. Not everything, but a bunch. And why did I do that? Because if you look at Ethereum on its dollar pair, it's over $2,200. The breakout, like we said, it was going down, it broke out, it had a retest, and now it has that typical candle that you expect from it. The bi-weekly RSI, as we spoke about yesterday, was breaking out. The price followed this entire structure looking beautiful, right? I definitely don't think it's going to go here in this move. I think we're going to have a retrace. Reason being is mostly not because of the Ethereum dollar chart. It's mostly because of the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. If I look at ETH BTC, then it broke out of a downtrend that it was in for the last year, right? So if you draw it like this, it broke out, also had a retest, up it goes, looking really good over there, outperforming Bitcoin. And that's kind of just like last cycle where Ethereum bottomed before Bitcoin. We could say that maybe somewhat the same happened right now. I don't know. However, if you zoom out a little bit further and you look at what actually is going on with ETH BTC right now, and you take it over the longer time frame. So since the beginning of the whole Ethereum BTC downtrend pretty much, right? You can draw the line like this. And I'm like, okay, we are now sitting at a real longer term resistance point, which we have to be careful with. Now, this is not just one line, right? Resistance is there to be broken eventually, support is there to be broken eventually, but this lines up with something else. Because if you take the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, you can see that the 0.236 is coming in exactly at the point where we are right now, actually where the wick occurred so far. So I'm like, this here is double resistance right now. Also, if you look on the daily RSI, it's flashing green, which is in this case overbought, and it's sitting at a level of 81. Look, the last time it was sitting at this level was in July 2025. It was more than a year ago. Still went up after that. But overall, resistance, Fib level, overbought RSI. It's for me not really the place anymore where I would say like, okay, yeah, a lot of upside from here. It could break all of it. But overall, personally, I got a pretty good entry on Ethereum and I can take some profit out. And that's exactly what I did right here. Now, how does it look for BTC? BTC, look, I mean, 70K, pretty much, it's what it touched. And yeah, this was a pretty decent candle so far. Now, Bitcoin is still in a downtrend, if you look at it technically, right? Like it's in a downtrend and it's close to breaking it, right? If you look at it like this, so and you could make the case that it already broke. It kind of depends on how you draw the line exactly, of course. Right? We need a little bit more confirmation, but it is interesting to see. However, you can also draw, and I want to say like, hey, it's bullish only, it's bearish only. I want to hopefully address both sides. You could also say like, well, here it also broke the downtrend, right? And it still eventually went down. So therefore, I'm not too big on only drawing trend lines. I like to see a little bit more confirmation with everything combined. Now, if you take the Fib from how it went so far, there's a good chance that Bitcoin will go to 73K, right? Maybe not today. However, yesterday kind of showed us that these candles do occur, right? But there's a good chance that it will, over time, maybe cools off a little bit. In the meantime, also, I think that if you look at the RSI on the 4 hour, the Bitcoin is sitting, it's sitting pretty high right now. Same as October 2025, same as July 2025. And these were moments where we really had a good top, right? Whether it's a all-time top or a local top, it's usually a top. So I'm not too big on a sustainable move up so far, in the shorter term at least. And therefore, again, I think it is good to take some profit out, along the way. Overall, this move was pretty interesting, right? And if you look at alts, how they're performing, they're just going with it. Like overall, if you look at Ondo, that didn't really do much, actually. If you look at Render, I don't think it did a lot. Well, Render did quite well, actually. Render had a pretty good move. Tao had a decent move, right? I'm pretty zoomed out, so it looks like nothing. But overall, they moved pretty well with it. I think the Pendle was, doing quite fine. Doge is not doing anything really at the moment, a little bit, right? But again, Chainlink was already very strong. Nair is showing some real strength. Aave is doing pretty well. And of course, Ethereum is outperforming the crap out of all of this. So it's mostly actually Ethereum leading the move. Bitcoin comes after and alts come after that. That's kind of what we have right now. That's pretty much also the statement that we made on the channel earlier, right? Like we said, like, okay, Bitcoin, it's an obvious buy. The bottom indicators are flashing. They did that job again. This was the move that, like, we kind of saw this coming. I didn't foresee the size of it necessarily, but the move itself was pretty obvious. So then we started looking like, okay, what then? How are alts looking against BTC, right? And if you look at that, you could say like, yeah, they're looking pretty good. They're in a low zone right now. So it's good to be bullish on alts versus BTC, right? If you look at this parallel channel, we're at the bottom of it. If you're all about the 4-year cycle and you want to use that as a reason to be bearish, then I can assure you, like, don't worry, right? In usual bear markets, alts go down against Bitcoin. This time we went up. So that was looking really good. However, I also said that alts were looking really overbought against Ethereum a couple months back, right? That's others / ETH. So I converted my alts to ETH and this went down picture perfect. This whole move played out like it was like the crypto Bible of all of it, like crazy. And therefore I said therefore I'm most bullish on ETH right now. Right? Because Bitcoin looking good, alts looking good against Bitcoin, but ETH looking good against alts. So ETH overall is my winner. And here we get the biggest move of all of those basically, which is ETH right now. A little rest would be required after me selling a bunch of ETH. I don't mind it cooling off a little bit, but I don't think it's going back down to real bear market low levels anytime soon, at least, if not at all. But how low might it go, right? If this move cools off, to be honest, not maybe too far, but yeah, it would make sense if we can see it back around 1900, maybe 18, right? The golden pocket right here. That would be a real moment that I would say, okay, let's get back in. Worst case, 16.5, right? And we're gonna hit around this trend line again, depending when it happens, though. That's kind of the level that I'm eyeing right now, actually. So most of the time, I think the best thing to do is actually nothing, right? Just buy when it's low, take some profits when it pumps, and then wait, sit it out. If you look at the Ethereum dominance, look, nothing has really happened. Like, it's not, well, not nothing has happened, but it's not super spectacular. It's not that we're sitting anywhere close to the top of the range or anything, but we're also not at the bottom of it. We're nicely in the middle. And I think that a lot of people, they like to bet on, for example, whatever the asset may be, but in this case, Ethereum, when it's sitting here, because that's the confirmation, right? That's like, oh, it's doing well, let me get in. That's the place where where you want to get out again, right? The place where you want to get in is when it's sitting really low, of course. And then when a move like this happens, you can profit from it, because for a lot of people, this is nothing. They're like, okay, now I reduced my loss from 80% to 60%, right? How I'm going to take profit from that? But therefore, buying when there's panic, when things are low in the first place, when the YouTube comments are all saying that being bullish at lows is crazy, that's typically the place where you do want to get in. And then you are in a luxury position where you can take some profits while other people are actually buying that pump, right? Which is causing your taking profit reason in the first place. Yeah, and look, if you look at the total crypto market, like this is not that bad. Like it's not a huge candle, but get this is 10% in 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks, well, I'm even exaggerating because most of the move happened in a day, right? If you look at it, like yesterday in the total crypto market was 7% in a day, but it's 7% of $2 trillion, right? Like don't mistake 7% like, oh, that's nothing. It's a lot. It was a big money inflow in the crypto market. I don't know, the last time we saw a candle like that on the daily was like at the beginning of this year somewhere. Yeah, after the February bottom actually. So this is a pretty crazy move right now that we're seeing. But overall, again, I do think that also on the daily, it's pretty overbought right now, and it can keep up like that for a while. So don't think that it like should go down right away. But I would say like don't FOMO in right now. We had our chance; it was a good chance. Now enjoy it instead of FOMO buying. Very quickly, 2 or 3 comments that people made on the channel. Somebody said above 50 moving average weekly is bull market. Overall, yeah, that kind of lines up with the bull market. It kind of depends also on what you see as a bull market, right? I think that the confirmation is kind of there when we do break the downtrend that we are currently in, and the downtrend is, in my opinion, just lower lows, lower highs. So the first higher high would be $80,000 to $1,000. If we go above that, then I think that there's a real confirmation, because I don't think that this currently is a bull market. I also don't think it's a bear market though. There's always something in between. It's a little bit of nothing. Nobody's really satisfied, right? Like for bulls, look, depends when you turn bullish. If you turn bullish at the low, then you can now take some profit, but that's kind of all it's said with that. But for bears, it's also like the bear market didn't play out for shit. So it's kind of nobody is satisfied at this point. So that's $82,000. Look, it could line up because the 50 weekly moving average is currently sitting at $82,000, exactly at that point, by the way. But yeah, at the time we get there, the moving average is a little lower because we are currently below it. The harder we go up right now, the slower it goes down. So it will either be a very slow grind or we have to have a fat capitulation to break it, you know, but it will kind of line up, right? Every time we get above the 50 weekly moving average is mostly indeed, you know, a bull market. You don't break above it in a bear, right? Like that's simply what it is. But yeah, that depends on whatever the confirmation for somebody for a bull market is. But yeah, overall, pretty much. Please keep us updated frequently on those quantitative indicators like you're doing, especially the pi cycle bottom one. Yeah. So bro, like pi cycle bottom, this one nailed it, man. Again, it's such a stupid indicator, but therefore we made a range out of it, right? Because I don't like indicators that say like, oh, there's one flash and that should be it. No, suck it. I don't think that that's what it should be. But pi cycle, yeah, look, I mean, this is pretty much the only indicator that didn't mark the bottom yet so far, right? Most of them did. This one didn't. However, that's why we put a risk level to it, right? Because if you take it from a 0 to 100% risk level, then you could argue that 4 is good enough, right? And that you don't have to wait for 0 necessarily to happen. And in that case, yeah, look, I mean, if you started DCAing when this thing was sitting at around 20 or so, you did fine, right? Like if you bought here, that was around April, right? April, May, June, like that's the period, like that was the DCA period. So that's a good one. The risk wave is of course an indicator that's our own indicator that really marked the bottom to the day in February. It did very well in June as well. And now it kind of says like, 27%, still relative low risk. If you look at where it, you know, belongs right now, we spend a bunch of time at the 45% level, which is now $98,000, right? So 98K, that's eventually a level where we should struggle quite a lot. Yeah, and it kind of makes sense. There's a bunch of resistance, support, and all of that right there. So that's eventually where I think we will have our next like long, boring moment. Bitcoin is in a bull run since 2008. Bitcoin exists since 2008. I don't know. It's so yeah. You could say that, right? Like you could say like Bitcoin is in a bull run since 2008. That's true. But yeah, the S&P again is also in the bull market since 1952. So yeah, but it's what it is. Overall, one final thing, one chart, if you are about alts to pay attention to, it's not altcoins on the dollar pair. It's not altcoins on the Bitcoin pair. It's not Ethereum versus whatever. It is, I think, the low caps versus the high caps, right? If you are in TradingView, look at others / total 3 minus others. It leaves you with everything in the top 125 outside of the top 10 against altcoins only in the top 10. If you overlay this on any random alt chart, it correlates perfectly. Now, this one is showing the relative, the relative strength, the money within the altcoin market, right? And this chart, to be honest, if you see how it ranges and how it oscillates, it's nowhere yet. And this has nothing to do with new money inflow, right? This is the most logical chart as well to me, because this has something to do with rotation within the altcoin market. That's the easiest way to pump an altcoin, right? You take it out of one and put it in the other. That's nothing weird. There's no, right, ETFs blocking it or whatever. Yeah, and if you look at where it's sitting, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, not bad, right? Overlay render, for example, that's one of the lower caps in this chart. Right? If you overlay this on it at same scale, yeah, then you can see, well, let me do the other scale actually, so you can visualize it a little bit better. You can see how beautiful the overlay is, right? Where render is sitting low, pumps, right? Big pump, sitting at the lower side again, huge pump, sitting at the low, the pump all correlates with it perfectly. If you look at render only on the dollar pair, you're like, yeah, what's the ceiling? What's the floor? What's the whatever? On this chart, you can see how it oscillates, right? So there's a bit of perspective, like where are we relative to where we can go? And that's what I want to wrap it up with. We are nowhere yet. Enjoy it, man. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.